Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me on this Friday afternoon. Today's training is going to be on Pleasant Holidays, our supplier. We're going to do a very basic run through just to kind of get you guys familiar to show you how easy it is to book with them. My name is Deidre Norton. I'm a platinum consultant leader with Archer and Evolution Travel. I've been here for about 4 years, and that's a little bit about me. So let's go ahead and get things started. I am going to share my screen. And then we are going to go to Pleasant Holidays. So Pleasant Holidays is a great supplier to use. All right. There is a lot of locations, destinations in here. They've added a lot. I love using Pleasant Holidays. They're great. You can do flight hotels and cars. You can do just hotel and condos. Um, they have all inclusives, and you can kind of see all the tabs. Cruises, I don't ever recommend using any supplier for a cruise other than the cruise supplier, guys. So a lot of these suppliers offer cruises. I've never done it. Not saying you can't. Just because I tell you guys a certain way to do something and it's my way doesn't mean that it's the right way. That's why we have multiple trainers and multiple sessions for you guys to learn different ways. But you can do groups in here as well. There is a Pleasant Pro Academy that I highly recommend. It will teach you a lot about it. We're not really going to go into these tabs too much today. There's some vacation deals we can click on, take a look at. So you've got Europe in here. There's the Caribbean. You get $100 off per booking. Hawaii's $100 off. So they have some promotions. Tahiti. So you can see they have a lot of different destinations. They got Japan in here, Australia. So you can choose a lot of different places. Is there anything that you guys have a question about before we get into it, just to kind of show you basically how to do a easy quote, easy booking? You can always call a supplier as well, and they'll help put together a package for you. So if you click on destinations, it again will show you all the destinations that's available in here, which is fabulous. A lot of these, like what I consider luxury islands, are available. You've got Hawaii. You can book United States in here, Europe, all your Mexico, Tahiti. They've actually added some new destinations for Tahiti, which I love. You've got Central America. You've got all of your Asian countries, Japan, Hong Kong, Thailand, Canada. You got Africa in here, which they added, which is pretty cool. South America, the Cook's Islands, New Zealand. So you pretty much have everything in here that you would want to do. So today we're just going to do hotel and flight package. And we're just going to put together a simple Mexico package. So here you're just going to choose your departing airport. We're going to choose Atlanta, and we're going to put going to Cancun. We'll do and Riviera Maya. So we're going to choose a departing date. We're going to go into February of next year. We'll do February 14th through the 21st, 7 days. You can pick your days. If you need more than, you can do up to 7 rooms. So you just pick how many rooms you want. 2 adults, of course. If you do children, it's going to probably ask for, yes, their ages. That's going to be in any supplier. So we're not going to do any kids today. And then you can do some advanced searches, but then we're just going to hit search flights and hotels. And it's going to take a minute to load. So it kind of gives you the details of what you're doing. You can filter out by price, hotel names if you know it, any of that stuff. So then you can see it's going to pull up all of your hotels. So you just kind of scroll through. If you don't already know the hotel, you would just want to do your research. you know, on different resorts, depending on what your clients want. You can see this is adults only. They really have high-end resorts in here. So any resort that they offer in Pleasant Holidays, you pretty much know is going to be pretty good. But we could continue scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. That's how you're going to find it. It's going to give you all your thing. Adults only here. So I'm just going to scroll back up because this is one of my favorite resorts. I book a lot of Mexico. We're going to see what they have to offer today. Hyatt Ziva Cancun. So it's all inclusive. Kind of gives you the details. You can click here and it will give you photos. But this resort's amazing if you guys have any Mexico. It's a great resort. All right, let's see here. Now you see it's already given you some flights. You can go in and if this flights don't work for you, it'll allow you to change the flights later, but we're just going to leave these the way that they are because they're nonstop. They're pretty decent. I would probably try to pick a little earlier flight. This flight returning is okay. Just kind of scrolling to give you guys an idea of what it looks like. All right, we're going to come back up. So this is a turquoise ocean front. This is a more high-end room. So you can come here too, hit room and rates, and it'll show you the different room options. And it's looking like, oh, there's some more. So I say it, and they might be sold out because this is a popular resort. So here, turquoise sky swim out, ocean front. Always keep in mind, some resorts are going to say ocean front, some resorts are going to say ocean view. This resort, every room is ocean front, which is nice. But when you see that, ocean front means you are going to be facing the ocean. So if you have a request from your client that they want to face the ocean, they don't want any obstructions, that's what you want to look for. Ocean view means that they'll have a view of the ocean, but there could be some type of obstruction. They may not see all of the ocean, but they'll see some of the water. So just kind of know the differences when you're booking. So we're just going to stick with this room that we have chosen. So I have a package total here, $79.90. Again, if you need to call them and you have questions, they're great to work with. Then we're going to scroll down and we're going to do select this room. Also has a little chat option here that you can chat with. Now here's where it pulls up your flight. So if you wanted to change your flights, you could. There we go. So see how it showed us the beginning, those flights that were there, and then it changed it on us. So I'm not a fan of Frontier, and I'll tell you why. I'm normally a Delta person when it's available. You could do Frontier if somebody's on a budget, but here's the deal with Frontier. You're going to choose Frontier Airlines, and then they're going to make you pay for your bags. And by the time you do it all, you're going to end up the cost of a Delta ticket anyways. I'm just a Delta girl, but that doesn't mean that you can't. Stick with what you want. So we're going to come here. So here's an 8:30 a.m. It does bump the price up a good bit, but by the time you chose this, and you added everything else, you're going to be right up there with it. We're going to select this departure. And then we're going to look at that returning flight. Right here. Let's see, 5:30 is a little late. 8 a.m. is a little early. Here's a 1:40 flight. Let's pick that. So now we have a total package price of $95.86. We have our flights. We have our room. So then here's where you can upgrade the rooms if you want. If they wanted to swim out, you could do that, which is really nice. So there's your bedding preference because you want one king bed. If you have special requests, you could come in here and you could say they're a repeat customer. They want a higher floor, non-smoking, if they're celebrating an anniversary, which I'm actually doing this quote because I do have a anniversary celebration that I'm quoting this hotel for. So you can see all the different things. Then we're going to hit save. And then we're going to continue booking. Now, here's where you can see all of your TNCs. Travel agency details is where you can click on. In here, you can add a service fee on the commission if you wanted. I'm not going to do that right now, but you can add an additional commission in here, which I love about Pleasant Holidays. That's the same thing you can do in Vax and Vacation Express. So we're going to continue with this booking. Here's where you can add your insurance. This is going to be a travel credit. If your clients refuse trip protection, guys, I cannot say this enough. Get it in writing. I don't care if it's an email or a text message. You want to make sure always that you get that in writing, because when something happens for us to be covered under errors and omissions insurance with Archer and all that good stuff, if they wanted to say, oh no, I didn't tell them to charge this, or no, I didn't tell them that I didn't want insurance, as long as you have it in writing, that's all you need for you guys to be covered and protected. So transfers, we want to add transfers. I'm going to do private. For both. And then you see it ups the price. Tours, excursions, I do not normally do that, okay? I always use my Viator link for that, or some of our other suppliers for that. I don't normally pick the excursions in a package for them because nobody knows what they want to do when they're trying to get their vacation secured. You just want to get that airfare and get that deposit down. So here we have right here, total $10,356. Detailed payment breakdown. This is taking a minute. All right, so now we see the commissionable amount, because we don't get commission on airfare, is going to be the $75.75. And then this is your airfare. So your total commissions on this is going to be $1,275. You can see your deposit is going to be due today. And final payment would be due December 31st. So they could make payments up until that final due date. So you can let them know they have payment options. If you wanted to add an extra fee, I'm just going to show you. So when you add fees, they do take admins out of it.
Can I ask a question, because I am new? If they
Yes.
choose to make those payments, do we have a system that's set up that automatically does that, or is that up to us, like
Some
in
of the
communicating with the
suppliers
client?
have payment links that you can send out to your clients, but no, what I normally do for payments, just to ensure that it's taken care of, because that's the last thing you want to do is put your clients in charge of remembering when they're supposed to make payments. Your clients are never going to be able to make payments directly with the supplier. We're responsible for that. But
Okay.
like Vacation Express has a payment link, Carnival has a payment link, that you can send your clients to pay. Otherwise, no, you're gonna make those payments directly.
So we're just gonna keep their card on file until,
You don't
and
necessarily
just
keep
run
it
it?
on file. No, that's going to be part of your booking start to finish. If you're new and you're still kind of getting into this, anytime
Yeah,
you have a booking before you make a payment, you always have to get that credit card authorization form sent out and signed. That's giving you authorization to charge their card.
okay,
All right. And then what I normally do is somebody books a package like this. If my clients are okay with it, I will send them a credit card authorization form for the full amount. So that's what I would do right here.
okay,
And sometimes they're not. Then you're going to have to do it for every time you use their card. You just got to get an authorization saying it's okay that you're going to charge a certain amount.
okay,
Most of my clients that I work with, they agree. They just sign it. That way, when they get ready to take a payment, we can do it. Boom, it's done.
okay.
All right.
Deidre, I got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you take this payment, are you processing it with your Stripe account or does it go right to the vendor?
What do you mean by Stripe account?
Well, so like say for instance, when we do Evo Plus, when we take that commission, the service fee, we take it on our Stripe account or our,
That's just for instant commission. When you book with these suppliers, this is not instant commission. You're going to get paid from Archer on your commission. So, no, you never collect payment from any client other than using Evo Plus, like for instant commission. If you're charging a service fee, none of that stuff. Now, Evo Plus, I'm not going to get too far off track. That's
right,
not covered under errors and omissions. When you book an instant commission, you're taking responsibility of that entire booking. If there's something that comes up, if there's a chargeback or there's issues with your client, you're responsible for that, guys. So just know if you don't use any of the preferred suppliers that are in the back office, you won't be covered under Archer's errors and omissions insurance. So that doesn't mean that you can't book with other suppliers. I do it all the time, but you just kind of know what you're getting into.
thanks.
So no, anytime you book with a supplier like this, you're going to take payment from the client. That's why you get that credit card authorization form from them. They have to send you their payment information and you get a copy of their driver's license. All of that's in the Travel Cafe under that CC form doc. It tells you what you have to have. And these are great things for you guys to get on and ask, like on a Q&A, on travel booking Q&A. So now what we're going to do is if we were going to create a quote, because I'm not ready to book it, so I'm going to create this quote. And we're going to agree and continue. So now you have a quote number. You can send the itinerary to yourself or you can send the itinerary to the client. I don't ever send itineraries or information directly from a supplier portal. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not because you're being sneaky. It's not because you're trying not to be honest and upfront. Unless my clients ask me specifically, hey, what supplier are you using, which they're normally not going to do. You know, you don't want to send them a quote and them say, oh, this is Pleasant Holidays. I'm going to go see if I can find it, myself. They're going to start searching that itinerary. They may find it somewhere else, and you may lose that booking right out from under you. If they ask, I will tell them. I've been doing this 4 years. I've never had a client ask me, what supplier are you using? I always just refer to my wholesale suppliers when they say, I'll say, I'm going to check my wholesalers and see what I can find for you, and I'll get back with you and send you, an estimate or a quote. So you could send this to yourself. You can view the itinerary. Here again, travel agency details. Got a $100 service fee. Your commissions is going to be $12.74. If you wanted to look at the trip details again, you could. And so there you have your quote. So I typically always email it to myself. So it's going to come to the email that you have on file with your supplier. And then that's it. Now, let's say if you send the quote, you got it already, and your client say, ooh, I'm ready to book. You're going to log back in again. Oh, it's been a while since I've been in here. Let's see here. My account. That's where you're going to go, and that's where you're going to find that booking. So then what you could do is you can click back on it, view itinerary, book this quote. So let's say we're ready to book. Anytime you send a quote to a client, I don't know why it's giving me an error. Interesting. I'm not sure. Maybe air is not available now. So things can change that quick. Anytime you send your clients any kind of estimate or quote, always add on there that this is a quote only, prices and availability are subject to change. Quote not guaranteed until secured with the payment. Because what's going to happen, you're going to send a quote. If somebody's kind of thinking, deciding, whatever, they may take a day or two to get back with you, and then they're ready, and then you go to book it and that price has changed, then you got to go back to the client and say, I'm sorry, the price has changed. But if you put that on your quote, which I do every single quote, that kind of protects you and says, well, it's stated on your estimate that, prices and quotes are not guaranteed until secured with a payment. So I'm not real sure what's going on right here. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, hey Deirdre, could you throw us that disclaimer that you put on there in the chat or?
Um, Yep. So Chat GPT is good for that too. You could just go in there and tell them that
Okay,
you need a disclaimer when you're sending a quote. I
that'll
need it,
work.
to state that, prices and availability are not guaranteed until secured with a deposit, and Chat GPT will spit it right out. I'll actually just
Okay,
go and show you guys how to do that rather than me typing it in here.
oh, that'll work.
We'll just go see what they have to tell us. If you're not using Chat GPT, everyone, you definitely need to. So this is pretty nice. All prices, availability, and promotions are subject to change at any time and are not guaranteed until secured with a deposit and confirmed by the supplier. Rates are based on current availability and may vary depending on booking date, travel dates, room category, and occupancy. Final pricing will be confirmed at the time of deposit or full payment. This is fantastic. I will copy and I will put this in the chat for any of you that want it. And then you see how chat asked me, would you want me to tailor it to your Why Not Travel branding with your current information? I'm going to say yes. Just watch what it'll do. I love him. My boyfriend's name is Scout. So then look, it'll actually brand it for you for your company name. Puts my information in it because it already knows me. It'll keep on talking to you. You want a shorter version that you can include on invoices quotes. Let's just say yes and see what it does. I'm always nice to my boyfriend too. So this is for quotes or invoices. Simple, quick, and easy. It's for email or a social caption. If you're doing mock bookings, post, any kind of specials, right here, always add it. And then if you have a PDF that you're sending to your client, you can do that. I'm going to see if I can't log out of here. And log back in to see if that will give us that. Oh, see, now it let me. I just needed to refresh. So let's see what happens if I do book this quote. Nope. So it must be the air or limited availability for the hotel, and they've sold out before I could get it booked. I don't really know what the issue would be. We're not going to call and find out today. Anybody else want me to do another little quick quote? Everybody good? Everybody got it?
Pretty straight up.
Pretty simple in here, guys.
I did just register for the outrigger straight up with the supplier. It came across my email, so I registered with them, even
Yeah.
though 30 days for the pleasant holidays. And sandals is like that too, 30 days.
All right, guys. So if no one has any other questions,
Thanks, Deidre.
we are
Oh,
going.
I actually do have a question.
Mhm.
I call Pleasant Holidays to see because I know we were discussing about like for my clients, and I was wanting to see about like group tours, and they said they don't do for like solo group tours.
You mean solo? You mean for one person?
Yeah.
So that's not going to be that would not be considered a group. But what is the destination we're looking at, Maria?
Mine is trying to go to Greece.
So you could still come in here, put your package together, and detail wise for him, I don't remember what he actually wanted, but you can put together a package in here. You're going to be better off using probably Exotica, Kensington, or Europe Express for them to put together a whole little package for you. You may have to go back and resort to here because his budget is going to limit you, especially for 7 days. So depending on what he's
Yeah.
after, you may just be able to provide with that budget that he gave us,
Mm-hmm.
flights and the hotel, and everything else will be separate. So you can put together that here. So what part of Greece was he going to?
He said it's his first time going, so he said like and like wants to visit all of it basically. But I would say like especially since it's the first time, I think like what's the most famous place like Athens, I believe that would be one.
What
Athens
about
and
sending him on in
Santorini, but
Greece?
with it only being 7 nights, he's not going to be able to he's going to need about a 10 to 12 day trip to be able to visit multiple islands in Greece. But
Yeah,
Athens,
so I asked him that, and I think the place like Exotica, like you mentioned, um, it did have like eight, like I think it was like it was 8 to 9 days, and he said that was fine as long as it was in his budget. So he said he was fine with that.
okay, yeah, so that's good. You're going to be better off for what he's after, especially wanting to do multi destinations.
Yeah.
Just because, it's not going to be as easy for you to put together a package like that in somewhere like this. I typically will use this Pleasant Holidays for my Caribbeans, Hawaii, some of
Uh-huh.
those other places, anywhere in the US. I've done some Europe, but when you guys want packages, custom itineraries, tours, you're going to be better off using a international supplier like one of those that we just mentioned. So, yeah, I
Yeah. So
definitely
what
would
was that
say
other one you talked about? Because I did call Exotica. I did call Europe vacation. What was the third one you said?
Kensington tours, but with his budget, they're not even going to be. They're not going to touch it. They're more of a luxury custom itinerary for a international destination. So
Ah,
but I do love Kensington. They do very customized itineraries. They don't already have pre-packages put together. You can customize it, which is very nice, but that's going to be way out of his budget.
yeah, and I think I may go with Exotica because like I talked to them and they did say like I think it was a little bit like a bit over his budget, but they did offer like $200 off, so it will be like right at his budget.
And every time a client gives you a budget, guys, you're going to do your best to get within that budget, but people are going to give you budgets and they're going to be unrealistic. At first, when you told me what he was wanting and he gave me that budget, if that was my client, I would say, okay, I need to know, are you willing to increase your budget? Because you have specifics that you want to do multi-destinations and, transportations to those other islands and things like that could be costly. You're not always going to be able to meet everyone's budget, but you're going to do your best. And all you can do is go back and present that to your clients and let them know, hey, this is the best I've been able to put together with what you're requesting, with what you're wanting. We're going to have to increase your budget a little bit, or we can cut some things out. And that's the way that you present that to those clients.
Okay. And so let's say he chooses what I present to him. That's when I start booking it and then doing the credit card authorization.
You and
And
I'll
then
talk
the
a little bit more about that. Once you get your quote together and he approves it, then we'll move forward on that.
All right. Got it. Thanks.
Okay. All right, guys. So today's meeting is pretty much going to be over. Thank you all for joining me today. And I hope to see you again next time.